Welcome everyone. So here we are going to discuss Act 2, Scene 1 of Macbeth. Banquo. How goes the night, boy? The Fleance. The moon is down. I have not heard the clock. Banquo. And she goes down at 12. Fleance. I take it is little later. It is later, sir. So in these lines, Banquo is actually talking to Fleance and they are talking about the night. They're talking about that the night is still about to be midnight. The moon is not yet down, the moon has not yet set, but it is much later now, and the clock has not yet rung at 12 o'clock. That means the alarm, the ticking of the clock, the bell that goes off at 12 at every hour, so that has not yet gone. Now, we might be confused when we think about the moon setting at night, but actually, we are talking about the first quarter phase of the moon, which occurs when the western half of the moon is illuminated so that it looks like the letter D, and on that day, the moon rises at noon and sets at midnight. Now, belonging to our position and the direction in which we are, we might not be able to see it right from the noon up to midnight, but it is that such a moon which is in the first quarter of its phase, it rises at noon and it sets at midnight. Now going ahead, let's go to the next line, that is Banquo. Hold, take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. The candles are all out. So hold, he's giving out his sword to Fleance because he is so restless and he is so disturbed that he just wants to give his sword and he has handed it over, and he is saying that there's something wrong about the heaven, the night. See, Macbeth and all the other plays of William Shakespeare, he has written all the plays from the point of view of plays being enacted upon stage. And therefore, he talks about these and he makes the dialogues such that it prepares the audience for imagining that something grave is going to unfold and what they should be expecting. Therefore, they are already preparing the scene for Duncan's murder by Macbeth. And therefore, he says that there is husbandry in heaven. Now, the word husbandry, usually it means that one who takes care of or taking care of cattle and animals and domestic animals, but here it means being economical. So he says the heaven seems to be quite economical today. There's not much light. The moon still can't be seen enough with its light as it usually gives us, and the candles are all out, as if the stars are also not throwing their light enough at us. Take thee that too. So again, he gives his belt or something else and he says that I'm so uneasy right now. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me. So lead, as we know, it is the heaviest metal, and therefore he says that he is so tired and he is so sleepy that he feels very heavy, but yet he can't sleep. And yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. So, merciful powers. So, whenever I am off to sleep, I am always disturbed by nightmares and overambitious thoughts, and all these thoughts are disturbing me. I hope that I just can put away all these thoughts and I don't submit myself to them. So, Banquo is filled with overambitious thoughts and nightmarish desires and nightmares, and therefore he wants merciful powers, the gods or whatever it is, nature, to help him sleep such that he can put down all these thoughts to rest. Give me my sword. Who's there? So he takes back his sword from Fleance, and then we can see Macbeth enter with his servant. A friend. Banquo. What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been in unusual pleasure and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal by the name of the most kind hostess and shut up in measureless content. So Banquo says that uh, Duncan, the King Duncan, is very happy. He is very very happy about the way they have welcomed, the way they have hosted him as a guest in their mansion, and therefore he gives gifts and rewards for everyone present in Macbeth's palace. He has given even a big diamond ring for Lady Macbeth, declaring that she is the most kind hostess that he had ever seen. So Duncan has been unusually pleased with the way they have been, the way he has been handled, and he has been accommodated so nicely and so graciously, and therefore he has, and it ensures that he was in total comfort. Now, Macbeth, being unprepared, our will become the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought. Now, Macbeth shows his humility and perhaps his excessive humility, and therefore he says that we were very unprepared. Being unprepared, we have not been able to provide him with provide him with the things that we would have provided him otherwise if we had been given proper time. So I guess that we were just imperfect hosts, and we were not so perfect as much King Duncan is. While he is in our praise, he rewards us, or he acclaims that how much he is happy with us. Banco. All's well. I dreamt last night of the three weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth. So he says that everything is all right. Everything is all right. I had a dream last night about the three witches, and some of the predictions that they had made the last time we had met them, it has already come true for you. See, you are the Thane of Glamis, now you are the Thane of Cawdor, so it has proved truth, some kind of truth in them. So they have provided some kind of truthful prediction for you. Then Macbeth says, I think not of them. Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time. So Macbeth actually lies about the fact that he has not been thinking about the witches, because he is actually trying to turn into reality everything that the witches had unfolded or predicted, and therefore he has already gone ahead in the planning of the murder of King Duncan, and then he goes about to murder him, to get about to the next step, that is not just becoming the Thane of Cawdor, that was the first, and now becoming the king of Scotland. And so he lied and says, oh no, I don't think about them. But if you have an hour to spare, whenever you have some kind of leisure time, so let's talk about that business. So let's talk about that. And then, if you would grant me some time, if you are willing to talk about that, so we shall do that. Banco, at your kindest leisure. So yes, whenever you are free, I shall do that. Macbeth, if you shall cleave to my consent, when 'tis, it shall make honour for you. Now Macbeth hints at something, and he says that if you shall agree, so cleave to my consent, if you cling or attach some kind of importance to what I say, or abide by me, follow my instructions, follow my advice, then when time comes, you shall be rewarded. You shall be the gainer if you go by my words or advice. Then Banco, so I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance clear, I shall be counselled. So he says that as long as I don't lose any honor in trying to gain more, and in listening to your advices, I still can keep my conscience very clear, my loyalty still remains the same, and I still have honor as much as I have now, then I shall surely listen to you and abide by you. So, and do what you say. Macbeth. Good repose the while. So, good. Rest for now. Take rest. Repose means rest. Banquo. Thanks, sir. The like to you. So, thank you, sir. So, same to you. So, good night. Now, Banquo and Fleance exit the scene, so they are no more on the stage there, and Macbeth says, Go, bid thy mistress, when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed. So actually there is not going to be any drink for him, but it is just in a code language that go and say this that. The main part of this dialogue is that she strike upon the bell when the drink is ready. That means when everything is set, when the scene is set, when she has already intoxicated the guards of King Duncan, then she should ring the bell so as to instruct him, inform him, signal him that Macbeth, it's the time, so you should come and complete the deed, the sinful deed of murdering King Duncan. So the servant is also exiting the scene, and here we have nobody on stage, just Macbeth. This kind of a big dialogue that he gives right now is called a soliloquy. So when a single character speaks on stage, he's totally alone on stage with no characters there. Nobody can hear him, overhear him. It is not meant to be a part of any conversation, and nobody except the audience shall hear it, and that kind of a thing which reflects his inner motives, intentions, inner thoughts. This is called a soliloquy, a single man's speech without any sort of interruption, intervention. And therefore, now he goes on and he says, Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? So he is totally confused and he says, Is this a dagger which I see before me? Why am I seeing a dagger? I am not asleep, I am not dreaming. Why do I see a dagger in front of me? And that too, the handle is pointed towards me as to that it is asking me to hold it, to grab it, to clutch it, and move with it in the direction that it is already guiding me towards. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. I can clearly see that you are some kind of imagination. You're not there. You're floating in the air. That's not possible. But yet I see thee. How is that possible that I can see you so clearly? Art thou not fatal vision? So are you not some kind of deadly illusion or hallucination? Sensible to feeling as to sight? So can you really be sensed to my other senses, to my other feelings, as I can see you? So my eyes can see you. So the power of sight. But can my other senses also see you, feel your presence? So are you really that tangible? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? I see thee yet in form as palpable as this which now I draw. So in the air, he tries to grab the dagger, and his hand just passed through it, and he says that I don't have you, I don't feel you, yet I can see you. So you are a deadly apparition, you're a deadly illusion. Is it possible to see you but not touch you? Is that possible? Or are you just a dagger created by mind? By my mind that is so obsessed with this deed, with this grave deed, with this cruel deed, with this brutal deed that I'm going to do, I'm going to commit. I still see you, and you look so real, so palpable. That means real, as this other dagger that I already have in with me, and I am unsheathing it now. So I'm opening it from the cover, I'm removing it from the cover, and then he takes out the real dagger which he has, and then he takes it out and he says, You just look as real as this one. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fool of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. So now he says, You're leading me the way I was already going, so towards Duncan's chamber. and I was going to use the same weapon just like you. Look, and either my eyesight is not working, it is the only sense of mine which is actually working correctly, which is totally working in order right now. Then mine eyes are made the fool of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. So if this one is working, all the others are not, and if all the others are working quite fine, then this is something vague, and my sight might not be working properly. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. And now, still, when I can see you and I cannot feel you with any of my other senses, I can now even see some drops of blood in it. Gouts of blood is drops of blood on the blade as well as on the dudgeon, that is on the handle of it, which was not here before. There's no such thing. So you're not there. Neither is the blood, nor are you real. It is the bloody business. So now he gets to understand that it is just the bloody business that he is going to commit, and that's why his mind, his obsessed mind, his feverish mind is creating these images in front of him. Whatever I'm planning, the result, the consequence is just coming and floating in front of me in the form of this blood-stained dagger. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now, over the one half world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Now everybody is asleep, half the world is also asleep. So one hemisphere can see the sun, another can see the moon. So day and night, half like that. And therefore he says that nature seems dead. Everything is so silent, dead, silent, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. So the eyelids are compared to the curtain, and therefore when they are asleep, when the humans are asleep, when everything is asleep, the wicked dreams intoxicate them, induce in them, or instigate them to do such kind of wicked deeds, and out of overambitiousness or whatever evil thought. And humans are attacked by nightmares, by devilish nightmares. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch. Thus, with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design, moves like a ghost. So he says that witches are offering sacrifices to their goddess Hecate. Meanwhile, the murder is like an old, withered man, and he is alarmed, or he is awakened by the howls of his wolf, who is leading him, and he is just following him randomly like a ghost, and his movement is such silent and so secretive as if it is just like Tarquin. So again we have an allusion here, like pale Hecate in the previous line, we have it now for Tarquin, who is an ancient Roman rapist, that is Tarquin, and he is blamed to be ravishing or to be violating the modesty of Lucretia, or his friend's wife, that is Lucrece also, some place we see it. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. So he's urging nature, he's urging earth, that we are so firm, you're so solid and hard, that I want you, I am pleading you, I'm urging you that please don't echo my footsteps, because I fear that if you echo my footsteps, it will be revealed where I am. People would know, and I don't want anybody, even the earth, even the nature, even the air around me, to know what I am going to do. And therefore, I don't want anything to break this awful silence that suits me and my deed the best right now. So the present horror that is there in this haunted hour of the night, when the nature is so dark and there is everything in complete silence, so that is perfect timing for the murder to be done. And therefore he wants that nothing should echo his footsteps. Very stones prate of my whereabout. Prate is nothing but announcement, that I don't want it to announce, to reverberate, to echo my whereabouts, my footsteps. And while I tread, he lives. So the more I am afraid, the more I think, the more I talk, he lives. He continues to live, and I'm only wasting time. Words to the heat of deeds, too cold breath gives. So he says that words to the heat of deeds, too cold breath gives. So he's saying that in the words, when we keep on talking, if we talk much, then speaking cools the heat of his willingness to act. It cools one's ardor, one's spirit. One's spirit cools down, cools off, and therefore his courage is seeping away from him, and he doesn't want that to happen. So as long as he has the courage, he just wants to commit the deed and finish off with it, get done with it as soon as quickly as possible, rather than wasting time and thinking about it or talking about it, because the more he talks, the more he realizes the gravity of the deed, the cruelty, and the consequences come out more clear in front of his eyes. So he doesn't want to do that, otherwise his spirit would cool off, he would become the coward self, and he would fail to commit the murder. So that's it. So we have finished Act 2 scene now. So scene 1, the soliloquy part. Now, when the bell rings, a bell rings. So these lines again are the continuation of the same soliloquy. Yes, the soliloquy is continuing, but up to here it's very important. The next 3 lines, these are not so much emphasized. Still, there is a part, the bell, the knell. This is important. Only the words are important. The rest 3 lines are not so much so frequent asked a question or an important question. Now, getting back to the lines, the bell rings. So Lady Macbeth rings the bell, signaling Macbeth that it's time. You should get going with the deed. I go, and it is done. So as simple as that, I'll go and it will be done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, so it's not for you. So don't awaken, don't wake up, for it is a knell. For it is not a bell actually, it's a knell. Now knell is a death bell. So in the previous times, in olden times, when things were not so advanced, so if something of dire consequence or critical or death happened, then the bell was rung. And therefore he says that it is not a bell, it is not an alarm that you should wake up, but it is a bell, it is that signals your death, that summons thee to heaven. So it is a knell for you, that it is calling you to heaven or to hell, wherever you are going. So it is signaling your death. So hear it not before I reach you. So I'll bring your death. So that's it. Act 2 scene 1 is over right now. So in this video, we shall complete it here. Any other suggestions or any other questions if you have, you can leave it in the comment section.